to Sellers Park for this playoff replay between Swindon Town and Gillingham. Well, Gillingham are just taking the field now. But before I'd say the teams, listen to the roar for Swindon Town and Colin Calderwood. So the Swindon lineup: in goal, number 1, Fraser Digby; 2, Dave Hockaday; 3, Phil King; 4, Peter Coyne; 5, Tim Parkin; 6, Colin Calderwood; 7, Dave Bamber; 8, Steve Berry; 9, the irrepressible Charlie Henry; 10, Steve White; 11, Lee Barnard; and the substitute is Jones, Mark Jones. Just listen to that Swindon crowd, they're behind me right now, and they've been like this ever since the gates have opened here at Sellers Park. And we'll go on to the Gillingham team now. Number 1 in goal is Phil Kite; 2, Paul Haylock; 3, Graham Pearce; 4, Les Berry; 5, Trevor Quo; 6, Colin Greenhall; 7, former town player Howard Pritchard; 8, David Shearer; 9, Martin Robinson; 10, Carl Alsey, who scored that magnificent goal at the county ground; 11, Tony Cascarino; and their substitute, David Smith. Well, your officials this evening is Mr. Martin from Alton, linesman Mr. Harris from Suffolk, and Mr. Keane from Berkshire. The 2 captains there, Colin Calderwood of Swindon Town and Colin Greenhall of Gillingham, who is soon to become David Bamber's brother-in-law, believe it or not. So it's going to be quite a family tussle out there today. Referee Martin checking his watch. And it's Trevor Quo then, who gets the game in motion for Gillingham. Carl Alsey, who scored that goal at the county ground to put Swindon 2 down, left his boots in the hotel. But Swindon all over, there is Howard Pritchard. And blocked by Colin Calderwood was Martin Robinson, so it's a corner then to Gillingham in the very first minute of this game. Cross from Pritchard, headed clear for another corner by big David Bamber. So the pressure on Swindon in this opening minute. And Tim Parkin heads clear. Lee Barnard robs number 7 Pritchard to set Swindon up. It's Lee Barnard. Through ball, Charlie Henry running on. Charlie Henry between 2 defenders. Phil Kite comes out and puts the ball out for a throw in. This is what Gillingham's going to watch from the Swindon side. They're fast and they're very, very fit. So it's Lee Barnard to take the throw. Back to Phil King. Phil King crosses, looking for Dave Bamber. Policed by his future brother-in-law Greenall. And Trevor Quo for Gillingham. To number 10, Carl Alsey. Alsey out to Pritchard, but Pritchard is offside. Very tight decision in my opinion, but the linesman gave it. So it's a free kick to Swindon. And it's Phil King to take the kick. Charlie Henry flicks on to Steve White. Steve White's through. That's just there! Swindon are 1 up with Steve White. Flick on from Charlie Henry and White was there. Just the start that Swindon wanted. So Swindon take the lead after only 2 minutes of this game. And it's just the start that Swindon Town wanted. Great goal from Steve White. So then, Gillingham with their backs against the wall, got to come back at Swindon now. That's a throw then to Swindon on the far side. To be taken by David Hockaday. Just hark at that noise behind me. It's deafening. King. Charlie Henry. On to Steve White again. This time White fails to control the ball. Peter Coyne. Blocked in onto Trevor Quo. Over to Paul Haylock. Howard Pritchard. Phil King policing him. Phil King tackles in his end, and it's Lee Barnard. Barnard beats Haylock twice. And White was judged to be offside. Les Berry to take the kick for Gillingham. Looking for Howard Pritchard. Phil King gets behind Pritchard. Clears the ball away back to Berry. Haylock. Haylock finding out Carl Alsey. Alsey around his man. Crosses the ball. But Martin Robinson wasn't there. Pearce misses the back pass. And the ball's gone for a throw in to Swindon. I needn't say a word, just listen to that crowd. Steve White, flick on from Dave Bamber. Policed by Colin Greenall. Greenall puts it out for a throw in. So Dave Hockaday with the throw. High ball into the box. Steve Berry. Dave Bamber. Oh, Bamber was offside. Not a very good kick from Phil Kite. Trevor Quo. Steve White now. A bar pass from Trevor Quo. Steve White gets a foul. Bad tackle by Graham Pearce, the former Brighton player, played in the cup final a few years ago. Colin Calderwood with the kick then. See, I notice Tim Parkins got up into the box. But Cascarino clears. Phil King. Round Howard Pritchard. Pritchard still chasing. Good ball by King to Barnard. Barnard crosses. Is that Dave Bamber's there? Tim Parkins there, but it's cleared. And number 9, Martin Robinson, clears his lines. But it's a throw to Swindon. Steve White. And it's a corner to Swindon. Off of Les Berry. So these first 5 minutes, Swindon really put the pressure on Gillingham after a shaky start in the first minute. It was Hockaday with the corner. Sorry, Berry with the corner. Now goes David Bamber. Oh, a flick on for Steve White, and it's pushed away by Phil Kite. Could easily have been number 2 for Swindon. Swindon have carved out several chances in these first 5 or 6 minutes. And let's hope they can keep it going. They want a good clear lead at half-time. And across comes the corner from Berry. Across the goal mouth. Cascarino. On to number 9, Martin Robinson. And Colin Calder was there to stop him. Back to Pearce. Dave Bamber trying to get the ball off of Pearce, but Colin Calder was there now. Calder wins the ball. But Les Berry cuts it out before it got to Charlie Henry. Greenall, the Gillingham skipper. Peter Coyne stops it. Coyne to Hockaday, but Berry cuts out before it once again gets to Charlie Henry. And Phil King puts it into it for a throw-in. Howard Pritchard. Lee Barnard. Good play by Lee Barnard. Steve White. Charlie Henry is on a run now. And there goes Charlie Henry, the man who would die for Swindon Town. But unfortunately his cross wasn't good, and it's gone for a goal kick. But another good break by Swindon. Phil Kite with a goal kick. Tim Parkin against Cascarino. Parkin wins. Yes, again, he's had 3 or 4 good games against Cascarino this season. And I think that Parkin is at the moment is winning on points. There's a long kick from Fraser Digby. Charlie Henry misses. Barry clears the lines. It's back in again from Lee Barnard. A bit of a nasty bounce, but it goes safely into Phil Kite hands. So it's Haylock. Haylock forward to Pritchard, but Pritchard slips. And Parkin to Barnard, very luckily, but Barnard back to Fraser Digby in the Swindon goal and back to safety. In fact, this is the first time in this tie that Swindon have been in front. And all these fans are hoping that they will stay there, but it's offside from Fraser Digby's kick. The Gillingham defence came running out and 4 or 5 Swindon players are offside. So it's Les Berry with the kick for Gillingham. Looking for Cascarino again, but doesn't get to him. And Robinson, and tackled by David Hockaday, but the linesman gave a corner, so is the referee, and they're the ones that count. So it's Swindon's turn to defend now. Pritchard with the kick. A short one to Carl Alsey, back to Pritchard. Trevor Quo into Pritchard. But it's gone for a goal kick, the ball ran on, so goal kick to Swindon. 1 or 2 people looking for and shouting for the penalty, but it never came. So it's Fraser Digby with the kick for Swindon. Without David Bamber, but Trevor Quo beats him. Hockaday cuts the pass out. And Greenall back to his keeper, but Steve White was there, but lucky enough for Gillingham, the ball went to the keeper. There was Clyde, a long kick, looking for Cascarino. And it's Peter Coyne. Safely back to his keeper. Pierce had it on, beat Bamber to the ball. Steve White, that's a free kick to Swindon, a foul on Steve White from Colin Greenall. So it's Steve Barry with the kick. In goes Bamber, and it's just headed wide by Parkin. Cascarino was marking Parkin, but Parkin got away from him and it's just wide. Phil Kite then with the free kick for Gillingham. Ball just touched on, and it's a foul by Cascarino on Calderwood. Swindon at the moment not missing Chris Kamara in midfield, out through injury that he received on the second leg game. Had a minor operation afterwards, but I saw Critch on the field before the game, still on crutches. But he's determined not to miss the game today, though. Steve White, Pierce on him, it's a throw to Gillingham. Cascarino, Peter Coyne picks the loose ball up. Cleared by Tim Parkin, up to Dave Bamber. Greenall beats him in the air though. And this is Steve Berry. Peter Coyne onto Lee Barnard. And what can Barnard do? Looking for charge to Steve White. It's Steve White. Crossing the ball over, no one's there. And it's away, but back to White. But it's still bouncing around the Gillingham box, but now it's Colin Calderwood. Dave Bamber has the ability to take on and beat a man. Now to Peter Coyne. David Hockaday, good ball from Coyne, but it's a goal kick. Hockaday unable to control the ball, so it's a goal kick to Gillingham. Well, Swindon have been playing really well this first 20 minutes. And at the moment, one can only see them going on to score more goals. Gillingham not ready as yet had a shot on goal. But Tim Parkin against Cascarino. Howard Pritchard, policed by Colin Corderwood. Ball in the corner. Corderwood puts it out the wing, going as far as Trevor Quo. Peter Coyne's with Quo. And a good tackle by Peter Coyne. Steve White. Barry is offside, he couldn't pass the ball there. Oh, unlucky, trying to find Bamber, but offside by Martin Robinson. That's a good play from Peter Coyne that time. An offside decision over here on the Swindon left wing. Phil King to take the kick. Once again, that high ball up. Haylock beating White to Howard Pritchard. Pritchard heads on. Cascarino. Once again, Parkin is there. This is Pierce breaking them for Gillingham on the left-hand side. But Dave Hockaday's there. Into number 9, Martin Robinson. Puts the ball across, but Steve Barry clears. David Bamber. But Steve White. Legs weren't quite long enough to get the ball past Haylock, who puts it back to Kite. And it's Steve Barry. Les Barry, I'm sorry. Les Barry looking for Cascarino again. Once again, Tim Parkin there, but just to a foul Cascarino that time. It's Haylock with the kick. To Elsie. Haylock. Puts the ball back to Elsie. Lee Bonner jumps in front. Bamber heads out. Phil King. And it's away to the halfway line. Carl Elsie again. And Howard Pritchard is offside. Swindon pulled out very, very fast that time and caught Pritchard offside. Well, the former Swindon winger having no luck at the moment. When they get a player like Howard Pritchard, he can turn a game. So it's King with the free kick. High ball into the area. Barry up again. Lee Barnard looking for that run at the left wing. He beats 2 men. Oh, and he's chopped down by number 8, David Shearer. And what's the referee going to do? Is it going to be a booking? No. In fact, the referee talking very strongly to Paul Haylock. Lucky to get away with a booking without a booking. So it's a free kick to Swindon. Steve Barry there to take it again. He seems to be Swindon's chief free kick taker tonight. Peter Coyne. Coyne puts it up. Just shot in. King was covering. But Gillingham having problems clearing the ball. But it's Trevor Quo sending a long ball out to number 9, Martin Robinson, but Robinson unable to get there, so it's another throw to Swindon. And out yet again for another throw. Charlie Henry crosses the ball. Steve White once again across the ball. Coyne's there. Oh, Coyne lost it. And another chance for Peter Coyne, but Phil Kite down, covers it. But another glorious chance here for Peter Coyne, but he couldn't control the ball. And Phil Kite was there to save. So it's Tim Parkin, Howard Pritchard. A tackle by Dave Bamber, and it's a throw to Gillingham. Pierce taking the throw. Robinson back to Pierce. Pierce back in looking for Cascarino, flicks it down. And RC misses it. Lee Barnard. And Lee Barnard wins the ball. And a throw into Gillingham. Throw to be taken by Paul Haylock, the former Norwich City player. Pritchard crosses. It's knocked away by Dave Hockaday. Bamber picks it up. Try to go through two players and wins a throw in. Good play by David Bamber. So we go, with just 25 minutes gone, the score still Swindon Town 1, Gillingham 0 from that second minute goal from Steve White. And so far it's been all Swindon. It's been all Swindon since after the first minute when Gillingham put a bit of pressure on Swindon, but the time out with that. Now it's Phil King. Crossed by Phil King, cleared by Les Berry, to Cascarino. Cascarino policed again by Parkin, but the referee says it's a foul. Coyne heads away. Steve Berry chasing with Robinson. Robinson wins that one. But a well good tackle by Dave Hockaday as a throw to Gillingham. Cascarino. A quick throw by Robinson to Cascarino. Pierce crosses. Greenall there. Against future brother-in-law, Dave Bamber. And it's Gillingham's ball. Throw in Greenall. This time Bamber wins. And White chasing Haylock. Haylock climbing all over. And the referee has scored a foul, and Haylock wouldn't let it stop. Well, the referee never said a word to Haylock there. This is a bit inconsistent, but there we are. That's modern football, I'm afraid. So it's Phil King with a free kick for Swindon. Peter Coyne not controlling the ball. So it's Haylock. Back to his keeper. Cascarino won that one. And again, but Colin Corderwood clears his lines. Charlie Henry is down here with Haylock and Berry. Oh, a high tackle from Berry, but the referee said play on. And Berry clears his lines once more. Lee Barnard. Steve White. Les Berry's there. Foul by Berry on Steve White. That's quite a battle at the front there between Berry and White. But at the moment, White's leading 1-0 with that well-taken goal in the second minute. So it's Phil King with the kick. Parking up, back across the goal, up goes Kite and Bamber. But the referee gives a free kick to Phil Kite. Personally, I can see nothing wrong with a 50-50 challenge like that at all, but the referees seem to protect the keepers. Certainly they did against Wigan when Dave Bamber scored that goal. And look in the pictures afterwards, Bamber never even touched the keeper. There's a free kick to Gillingham. Phil Kites. Phil King with Pritchard. But Shearer. Back to Haylock. Pritchard. King beats him that time. Les Berry. Phil King wins the ball again. And Barnard adjusts to a fouled Haylock that time. There's Haylock with a kick to Alcy. Cascarino up there. Oh, and it's cleared by Colin Corderwood as Howard Pritchard running in. But there's a free kick. Cascarino was just to have fouled someone there. So it's a free kick to Swindon and a let off for Swindon. But what a good clearance though by Colin Corderwood. So it's Fraser Digby then with the kick. Digby looking for Bamber. Bamber has the ball for a throw in, and it's Pierce to take the throw. Cascarino But Phil King. Long raking ball for Dave Bamber. Right at the back of the defence. Bamber wins it. Looking for Steve White. Oh, but Colin Greenall nearly put it past his own keeper. Another fine save by Phil Kite from his own player, Colin Greenall. So another corner to Swindon. And the crowd behind me, come on you Reds. Getting behind their team all the way. So it's Barry with the kick. Kite punches clear, back in by Hockaday. Greenall beats Parkin. Lee Barnard, but the shot goes wide. But another good attack by Swindon. As we're just past the half-hour mark. And Phil Kite for Gillingham. Tim Parkin wins the header, run onto it. Sent the Swindon forward chasing. Dave Bamber rushing in. Had the legs to beat Pierce, but Pierce managed to turn before he got there. That's Cascarino. Policed by Parkin. Won by Peter Coyne. Very bit slow to react on that one, so Elsie cleared. But it's a throw to Swindon. Dave Hockaday. There's Bamber. Charlie Henry. Henry and Greenall. Good cross by Charlie Henry. Lee Barnard. There's Berry. But Pritchard come from behind to dispossess Berry. Cascarino tries to find Robinson, but it's cut out by Dave Hockaday. And back to Fraser Digby in the Swindon goal. Bamber up. There's no one is over on the right where he flicked the ball to. Only Pierce who lets it run for a throw in. So it's Pierce back to Phil Kite. Paul Haylock on this side shouting for the ball, but Kite's deciding to kick the ball up the field. Hockaday, and it's a throw to Gillingham. Pierce with the throw. Hockaday, Bamber. Bamber puts the ball against Pierce's legs, and it's a throw to Swindon. David Hockaday again with the throw. Bamber looking for Bamber again. This time Steve White's behind him, but Greenall beats into it. But it's a free kick to Gillingham for backing on by Dave Bamber. Pierce with the kick yet again. Gains a few yards by tossing the ball along the pitch. Pritchard on two. But it's Pritchard with it again. This time to Alcee. Over to number 2, Paul Haylock. Haylock crosses, but it's Fraser Digby's ball. And safety for Swindon. And a long ball again from Digby. White held by Barry. And a few punches were exchanged. I think both players are in trouble. Yes, the referee is calling Les Berry to him. But the notebook hasn't come out. Yes, it has. Les Berry going in the book. And so is Steve White. Well, I can't understand why White went in the book, but I can fully understand why Berry went there. So Berry lucky to get away with just a booking after kicking the player after the ball had gone. So it's Steve Berry then with a kick. David Bamber. But it's a goal kick to Gillingham. King, a foul by King on Pritchard. Haylock now with the kick for Gillingham. Getting a few yards yet again. So it's Haylock then. Into the box, looking for Cascarino. Cascarino this time beats Parkin. The ball goes safe to Fraser Digby. And Digby releasing the ball quick, but it's wide this time. Steve White. White and Haylock. Battling it out. At the moment it's with Haylock, but his path is blocked to the goal by Charlie Henry. Phil King putting the ball out for a throw to Gillingham. Having a much better game this time against Howard Pritchard than he did in the league game back in April. There's Peter Coyne onto Les Berry, but Berry puts the ball back to Phil Kite. Cascarino won that one, Phil King. Swindon players stood around watching who's going to kick the ball, but it's Phil King. Charlie Henry. Henry flicks on, but Steve White's not there, and it's green all back to Phil Kite in the Gillingham goal. Kite to throw out to Haylock. To Berry. Trevor Quo. Found Elsie. He was left unmarked, but his shot has just gone wide of the Swindon goal. Swindon's defensive cover was poor there because Phil King was in the middle of the field tackling Howard Pritchard and left the left-hand side wide open. But Swindon fortunate to get away with that one. Well, it's Fraser Digby then with the kick for Swindon. And Gillingham beginning to get more into the game now. It's Pierce to Pritchard. And the corner to Gillingham off of Phil King. But Phil King doing the job he's paid to do, and that's police Howard Pritchard. So it's Pritchard with the kick. To Elsie. Oh, that's over the bar from Martin Robinson, so the danger's over this time for Swindon. Fraser Digby then to take the goal kick. Not quite ready. About 5 minutes to half time. Haylock with his arm in White's back again, but the referee never saw that one. Cascarino. Quo, but Coyne's there to cut it out. Peter Coyne to David Bamber. Oh, the referee gives a free kick to Gillingham. My word, that's a strange decision. There was David Bamber being instructed, and the referee gave the free kick to Gillingham. Well, I never. So it's Pierce with the kick. Lee Barnard. Peter Coyne. Only as far as Haylock. Haylock flicks on to Cascarino. But who's with him? Tim Parkin. Cascarino crosses. Ball bobbles around. Dave Bamber dispossessing Elsie. Pierce. But trying to find out Robinson, but David Hockaday's there. And back to Fraser Digby. Peter Coyne holding the ball up. Bamber flicks on. Trevor Quo, but Peter Coyne's there again, so it's a throw to Gillingham. Phil King on to Dave Bamber, Steve White, but Charlie Henry's offside. Charlie doesn't believe it, but he is, and he was. Bamber flicked the ball the wrong way that time. Elsie, Pierce. Elsie pushing off Barry, and the linesman saw that one, so it's a free kick to Swindon. Bit of push in by Carl Elsie. No, David Hockaday to take the free kick. Oh, what a stupid thing for David Hockaday. I've never seen anything like that in my life in football. What was Hockaday thinking he was doing? So it's a corner kick to Gillingham, to be taken by Howard Pritchard. My word, I've never seen anything like that in football in my life. Oh, and Elsie hammers the ball over the bar. The ball rang loose from the corner, and Elsie smashed the ball over the bar, but Colin Greenall is injured. He had 4 stitches inserted after the game at Swindon. And it looks like he could have done some more damage there. And there's Lou. Still shouting instructions to the team. John Trollope sat next to him. And Chris Kamara on the end. Andy Rowland and also Kevin Morris there. So it's a goal kick down to Swindon. Elsie, Haylock, Pritchard, but Hockaday heads up. Steve Barry, behind Barry, Peter Coyne, Haylock. But it's all heading tennis, and safely back to Fraser Digby in the Swindon goal. I've got to shout now because of all this noise behind me. And it's quite deafening, believe me. Just listen to that. There's David Bamber, Steve White. David Bamber. They're pushing the ball on too far, and it's a goal kick to Gillingham. Pritchard to Cascarino. Cascarino crosses, but that's Digby's ball. Dropped it, but got it out safely before Pritchard could get there. So it's Fraser Digby, another long raking kick. Looking for Charlie Henry. With a foul by Charlie Henry on Les Barry. That's a free kick to Gillingham. Pritchard, Cascarino's there, but it's half-time. Oh, there's another pulsating game with Swindon taking a 1-0 lead after 2 minutes from Steve White. But I'll leave you with this half with the Swindon crowd as the players go off. So here we go for the second half. Swindon to kick off. And at half-time, the Swindon fans have been singing and cheering all the time. Been a long, long time since we've heard that. So waiting for Mr. Martin to start the game. And away we go then for the second half. This is straight away a throw to Gillingham. Pierce with the throw. Bamber. Peter Coyne. Coyne trying to set Charlie Henry away, but cut out. Quo to Haylock on the far side. Lee Barnard running in fast, but Haylock beats him. To Howard Pritchard. And Pritchard puts the ball into the penalty box, but safely through to Fraser Digby. So the first attack of the second half, and it's Gillingham who make it. All Swindon do now is do a containing job, and they're in Division 2 next season. David Bamber having a tussle with Pierce. Cascarino parking behind him yet again. And a clearance by Colin Corderwood, and it's a throw to Gillingham. Throw to be taken by Graham Pierce. Pierce again looking at Cascarino. Cascarino heads on. Charlie Henry. David Bamber clears his lines, looking for Steve White. Steve White is up there. Graham Pierce. There's Trevor Quo on the break, but the referee has given offside. There's a Gillingham player running back from an offside position, so it's a free kick to Swindon. Taken by Corderwood. Corderwood pumping it forward. Up goes Charlie Henry. Greenall wins it. Steve Berry, Trevor Quo. Quo puts the ball out. Haylock just failing to keep it in, so it's a throw to Swindon. More pressure now on Gillingham. They've got to come out looking for that equalising goal. So it's Lee Barnard with the throw for Swindon. Flicked on by Tim Parkin. Just hooked away by Barry. Pritchard. Elsie. To Shearer. Robinson. But Corderwood clever clears it, kicks it away. Charlie Henry. Henry beaten by Pierce. A long ball to Howard Pritchard. This is where the danger can come from. Pritchard crosses. Cascarino pushing Parkin in the back. So it's a free kick to Swindon. Well, Swindon so far weathering the early pressure that Gillingham's throwing at them. Good covering. There's Colin Corderwood wanting Cascarino back to 10 yards. And Fraser Digby decides to take a long kick. Steve White up, Les Barry behind him. Lee Barnard misses the ball completely. Pritchard. To Shearer. Shearer past King. And Parkin clears. Good header, good cross from Haylock and cleared by Tim Parkin. So the pressure now on Swindon. Gillingham mounted another attack. So it's Pritchard with the corner. Cascarino pushing and shoving away there, but Fraser Digby goes down to his post and got at the ball. Digby soon off to France with the England under-21 party in June. David Hockaday pushes the ball up, but Dave Bamber went offside, so it's a kick to Gillingham. Henry wasn't 10 yards off the ball, so it'll be taken again. Graham Pierce with a kick then for Gillingham. Cascarino heads into the centre. Trevor Quo. Quo running across the goal mouth. And that's a shot from number 8 Shearer, but it goes wide. And another let off for Swindon. Swindon forcing Gillingham to shoot from far outside the box. That time it went wide. So the Swindon goal come under quite a bit of pressure early in this second half. And there they go again, Phil King. Well played, Phil King. Sends the ball up to Charlie Henry. And it's a throw into Gillingham. Cascarino. Tackled by Tim Parkin to Colin Calderwood. And it's going back to Fraser Digby. So we've really got a game on our hands now. As Gillingham press forward for this equalising goal. I think if Swindon just need to score one more, then that will kill them off. And it's Berry. Quo. Cascarino chasing, but it's gone. No, it hasn't. It's kept in by Cascarino. Howard Pritchard being chased by Colin Calderwood. And it's a goal kick. Pritchard looking for the corner, but it hit his legs as it went out. So it's the goal kick to Swindon. Fraser Digby. Trevor Quo out jumping Charlie Henry there. David Hockaday. And Steve White just to be offside, but it was very, very close. Linesman Mr. Harris thought it was offside, so if he said it was, and obviously it was. So it's Les Berry then with the kick. Lee Barnard. Pierce pushing the ball forward. Up goes Elsie with his foot up on Fraser Digby. But the referee says play on. Digby done well to hold the ball then. Bamber and Greenall having a bit of a struggle in the middle of the park there. Apparently best of friends off the field, but I don't think so tonight. Well, not on the field anyway. That's Phil Kites. Looking for Cascarino, but this time Parkin wins again. Throw into Gillingham. Pierce with the throw. Howard Pritchard. Oh, Pritchard beats Hockaday. But Phil King blocks his cross. There was a corner to Gillingham. Worrying times the moment for Swindon. Just can't seem to get the pressure off, but it's Pritchard then with the corner. A low corner, cleared away by Charlie Henry as far as Trevor Quo. Quo to Pritchard. And Charlie Henry winning that one. And it's a throw, this time to Swindon. Off of Trevor Quo. Well played by Charlie Henry. There's David Hockaday. Back to Fraser Digby. So that's the 12 minutes of the second half gone. It's still Swindon Town 1, Gillingham 0. And we have another great game on our hands here at Selhurst Park. Dave Hockaday going up that right wing. Crosses the ball over. Steve Berry onto Peter Coyne. Peter Coyne's there. Oh, it's off the line. Off the line by Haylocks after a good work by Peter Coyne. And it was almost number 2 for Swindon. The ball bombing around in the Gillingham box. And Paul Haylock cleared the lines. So it's Swindon's turn to turn the screw. Lee Barnard with the throw. The youngster getting his way over there, the ball boy. Dave Bamber, Lee Barnard. Barnard crosses it, it's a poor cross, but it's Steve Berry. Charlie Henry. Henry hooks it back in, and Cascarino wins that one. Steve Berry. Berry's shot blocked by Cascarino. Hockaday. Hockaday's centre cleared by Haylock to Howard Pritchard. Robinson. Cascarino, nice long ball to Cascarino. Dave Hockaday with him. Cascarino pass. Hockaday puts his centre in, but it's Phil King. Puts the ball out for corner. Fraser Digby a bit slow going off his line. So it's another corner to Gillingham. And 15 minutes of this second half gone already. Corner comes across through Parkin's legs. And cleared only up as far to the right as to Martin Robinson, but Robinson fell to control, and that's a throw to Swindon. And on the far side, Gillingham warming their sub up. David Smith. Smith, of course, scored the winning goal at Priestfield in the first leg. That's Barnard. Steve White. Only Trevor Quo. Charlie Henry missing completely. Trevor Quo looking for Cascarino. Going wide. Dave Hockaday's there with him. And it's put out by Hockaday. Pierce with the throw for Gillingham. Once again looking for Cascarino. This time beaten by Calderwood. But wide onside, but the ball's going to go for a throw-in. Very, very close to offside again, but Steve White couldn't quite catch it. And it's a throw to Gillingham. Once again be taken by Pierce. Pierce forward, looking for Cascarino. Peter Coyne winning that one from Robinson. Dave Bamber chasing with Colin Greenall, but Greenall back to Phil Kite. Dave Hockaday. Colin Calderwood beating Martin Robinson to the ball. And a long ball up to David Bamber, beaten by Greenall. Well, Swindon thought they caught them offside, but they weren't. Howard Pritchard, Cascarino crosses, but Lee Barnard completely misses. There's a chance for Shearer. There's still Shearer, Haylock, Steve Berry. And Steve Berry wins that one. Steve White, and it's Charlie Henry. Pierce, but he's offside. Cascarino slow getting back. Oh, the pressure off Swindon yet again. Cascarino with his socks rolled down, hands on his knees, looking absolutely shattered. I also think so. He's had 3 grueling games against Tim Parkin. I think it's just beginning to show now. So it's Parkin with the kick for Swindon. Greenall, Hockaday, Pierce, Cascarino, Halsey beaten by Lee Barnard. Steve White's flick into Dave Bamber. Never reached him, but Bamber never moved for it, so it's Haylock then for Gillingham. Looking for Pritchard. But Phil King was letting the ball go after Pritchard tried to kick it past him. So there's a substitution being made, and it's Martin Robinson coming off, and David Smith, the substitute, coming on for Gillingham. Robinson missed the game at Swindon, but in that game, David Smith caused the Swindon defence an awful lot of problems. On the far side, I can also see Mark Jones warming up. Fraser Digby. What Stevie White. Steve White misses. Les Barry. Cascarino. Shearer. With Steve Barry with him. Haylock. Howard Pritchard. Pritchard crosses, but Calderwood gets a foot to it. Phil King. Lee Barnard. That's a throw to Swindon. Steve White. Misses his header on. Greenall right back to keeper Phil Kite. Calderwood. Another long raking ball forward to Steve White. White heads on. Bamber. Berry on him. This Swindon's throw. Lee Barner then, with the throw for Swindon. Looking for another long throw into the Gillingham box. Up goes David Bamber, ball comes down to Trevor Quo. Quo pushes it forward to Howard Pritchard. Pritchard right out wide to Cascarino. Cascarino to David Smith. The Gillingham substitute puts his ball across, but that's Fraser Digby's. No Gillingham player come in to look for the ball, so it's safely in the arms of Fraser Digby. Digby rolls out to David Hockaday. So Hockaday setting Swindon going again. Steve White. But Les Berry winning that one. Peter Coyne on Graham Pearce. Hockaday. Tried to find Bamber, but it's cut out again. As the ball by Pritchard. Pritchard having a go at Smith on the floor. He should have run, but Smith stayed where he was. Gillingham players rather rattled at the moment, I think. And that's a gesture from Howard Pritchard epitomised it. So it's Fraser Digby. Ball's running loose. Peter Coyne heads on. Bamber. But cleared by Barry. As far as Steve Barry. And this is Shearer. Elsie across the Swindon goal mouth. Pritchard couldn't get to it. David Smith. But he's tackled by David Hockaday for a throw in to Swindon. But an evenly balanced second half. Both teams having their chances. Well, I think Gillingham rather getting the better of the exchanges at the moment. The first half belonged completely to Swindon. And a shot from Elsie, and it goes high and wide. So it's a goal kick to Swindon. Swindon can breathe again. But Swindon, a team known for their fitness, they will battle and battle and battle right to the end. As we saw in the second leg at Swindon, when they were 2 down and got back to 2-2 to bring them here tonight. Dave Bamber. Peter Coyne being chased by Pearce. That's a free kick to Gillingham. Trevor Quo. Howard Pritchard. Putting the ball wide to Haylock. Elsie. Tackled by Phil King. This is Pritchard. Calderwood blocking Pritchard out. That's a throw to Gillingham. Well, Pritchard beginning to become a constant thorn in Swindon's side, but at the moment it's being policed well by Colin Calderwood. Barnard. Poor clearance. David Hockaday. Charlie Henry, Steve White fighting for this ball, wins it, but he's on his own. But it's going to go for a throw in, just tapped it too far, so it's a throw to Gillingham. Trevor Quo. Pearce. Colin Calderwood's going to put this one out for another throw. So we've had almost 25 minutes of this second half, and it's still Swindon hanging on to that 1-0 lead. But football's a funny game, anything can happen. Charlie Henry, a poor clearance by Charlie. As far as Pearce into Pritchard. Putting it wide to Haylock. Barnard going for the cover. Haylock lets it run for a throw. Into Pritchard, but Colin Calderwood's going to win that in the air. Steve Barry, a long roll by Steve Barry. Dave Bamber on the end of it against Greenall. But still David Bamber pushes it forward. In goes Steve Barry, here, Steve White. Steve White with a chance. Here he goes in. It's number 2! Steve White has scored Swindon's second goal. After 25 minutes of the second half, Swindon Town are almost in Division 2. And I'm sorry if I'm getting excited, but as you all know, I've been a Swindon fan for many a year. So it's just 20 minutes to hang on now, and it's Division 2 football for Swindon next season. Trevor Quo. Calderwood puts the ball up into the stand. There's a throw to Gillingham. Colin Calderwood. Steve White again. Turns Barry. Barry brings him down. It's a free kick to Swindon. Phil King with a kick down for Swindon Town. Lee Barnard. Haylock with him. Phil King. King crosses Bambers there, but Greenall clears. Trevor Quo. Quo not quite controlling the ball. Lee Barnard. Alsey. Alsey clears. Up to Shearer. There's a push in the back by Steve Barry, and it's a free kick to Gillingham. Now this last 20 minutes is going to seem like hours for the Swindon players out there. If they keep on like they are now, he's offside. Carl Alsey fell as he's going for the ball, but he was offside. Steve White, on to David Bamber, can it be number 3? Oh, and Bamber shoots, but it's wide. Another goal, it would have killed Gillingham stone dead. This is what Swindon are looking for now. They got a gap of 2 goals. With about 19 minutes or so, 18 minutes or so left to play. Tim Parkin. Someone's shoe has just come on the pitch. Peter Coyne. David Hockaday. But Trevor Quo back to his keeper. Tim Parkin. Graham Pearce heads down for Les Barry. Poor kick by Barry. Out goes Peter Coyne with Pearce. Coyne wins it. It's only as far as Barry. But Coyne is getting booked. He said something. So Peter Coyne goes into referee Martin's book. Something he said. Don't Coyne now, you just walk away and get on with his game. So it's Graham Pearson for Gillingham with a free kick. David Bamber heads clear. Punched away by Charlie Henry as far as Steve White. White the only man forward. That's a Pearce. David Hockaday puts the ball out for a throw in. In the crowd somewhere, we don't know where it is. Here it comes. Been held up in the crowd, but it's Pearson with the throw. Shearer. Howard Pritchard. Oh, trying to sneak one in, but Fraser Digby was there at the corner, right on the post. Fraser Digby then. Another long ball downfield. David Bamber underneath it with Greenall. Tim Parkin. Trevor Quo. Shearer. Out to Haylock. Haylock to Pritchard. Pushes on to Haylock again, but Lee Barnard's it, but the ball comes across. Colin Calderwood flicks it on. Across his own goal mouth comes to David Smith. Back to Pearce, back across the goal. Berry missed his shot. Oh, a great save by Fraser Digby! Brilliant save from Fraser Digby. And that's why he is in the England under-21 squad. And the Swindon crowd are singing there's only one Fraser Digby. But what a save. Oh, it's nearly through there. It's David Bamber and he wasn't offside. Colin Calderwood pushes the ball out as far as David Smith. David Smith crosses, but it's over the Swindon crossbar. And it's a goal kick to Swindon. Oh, it's Digby then with the goal kick. Steve White on Barry, Peter Coyne. Coyne's header pushed forward by Elsey. And Fraser Digby comes in. Cascarino tries to push his way in, but Digby had the ball. And it's down the Gillingham end again. A long kick from Fraser Digby. Pearce with nowhere to go. But managed to get the ball back to Kite in the Gillingham goal. Charlie Henry back in defence now. As Swindon try to protect that 2-0 lead they've got. Well played David Hockaday to Peter Coyne. Colin Calderwood kicks the ball out for a throw-in. Smith tigerously into Hockaday and Coyne. Berry heads back to Quo. Quo to Pearce. But as Pearce is beaten by Coyne. Swindon now are oh so close to the second division. About 13 minutes to go. Smith. Smith crosses. Cascarino's there. Digby punches out. His shot comes in from Shearer. But it's clear. Steve White. Pearce. But it's going to be Fraser Digby's ball. So Gillingham, give them their due. They're still trying. A 2-goal deficit would break any other team, but not Gillingham. They're coming back at Swindon. David Bamber. Trevor Quo. Peter Coyne trying to get the ball off of Quo, but Quo to Pearce. Pearce forward looking for Cascarino. Finds him. Haylock. Shearer, Elsey, Quo. Back over on the right wing to Haylock. Flick forward, but that's going to... Cleared by Colin Calderwood. Everybody thought he was going to throw, but David Shearer is persistent. Got the ball across, but Colin Calderwood put it out for a throw-in. Greenall. Haylock, Greenall. Greenall crosses, that's Fraser Digby's ball. So safe into him again. Les Berry has the ball on, but only back to his keeper. Gillingham now beginning to rush their work. Hockaday miscuing the ball. Cascarino. And well marshalled by, once again, by Tim Parkin. Parkin's not left Cascarino's side all the game. And the Republic of Ireland international has not had one chance, one shot at goal. Yes. Steve Barry clears. Peter Coyne only as far as Trevor Quo, but Steve White's got up behind. Howard Pritchard. Pritchard crosses, but cut out by Dave Hockaday. Peter Coyne onto Steve White. And Trevor Quo wins the tackle. Still Trevor Quo. Steve Barry. But goes for a throw in to Gillingham. Pearson to Haylock. Haylock pushes forward. Elsie there. And so is Lee Barnard. Howard Pritchard. And Charlie Henry's header just going back. Cascarino. But Cascarino's shot. A feeble affair. And Fraser Digby gathers the ball safely. Taking his time going to the edge of his penalty area. And there's about 10 minutes to go. Apart from the League Cup win at Wembley, this is going to be the longest 10 minutes in Swindon's history. Colin Calderwood heads on, but Dave Bamber's offside. Barry to Haylock. Haylock forward. Colin Calderwood's there though. Heads on to David Bamber. Charlie Henry pushed a long ball forward to Steve White. The linesman flagging over the far side. We don't know what he's flagging for yet. Referee Mr. Martin going to have a word with him. Long talk between the linesman and the referee. Not quite sure what has happened. Referee coming to have a word with David Shearer, and he's got his book out. Shearer must have said something to the linesman. Unfortunately, in this position, we don't know what he's getting booked for. The referee bringing the ball right back up towards the Swindon penalty area. But it's a free kick, I think, to Swindon. So it's back to Fraser Digby. Steve White with Les Barry. The Haylock back to his keeper. David Smith looking for Cascarino in the middle. And who's there behind him again? Tim Parkin. Weak effort by Cascarino for a cross, and it's Calderwood who clears. Pearce with a throw then, once again for Gillingham. Carl Elsie to Trevor Quo. Being forced back. A long ball to Haylock, but it's going to go for a throw in. The Swindon defence was pulling out, so were the Gillingham attack coming back. Gave Haylock no chance really, that long ball from Trevor Quo. So we are about 5 minutes left to play. It's Swindon Town 2, Gillingham 0, and that spot in Division 2 is getting closer and closer and closer for Swindon Town. David Smith misses the ball. Dave Hockaday. Throw into Gillingham. Trevor Quo. Les Berry. Haylock on the far side, but too high, and Heads it out for a throw in. Lee Barnard. Charlie Henry kicks the ball into touch. Cascarino, only as far as Peter Coyne. Flicks the ball past Trevor Quo. Beats Elsie, Lee Barnard. Push forward to David Bamber, but Greenall's there. Phil King heads on again, but there's nobody there. And the ball runs away to safety. With Colin Greenall back to keeper Phil Kite. Long ball from Kite. Smith with Coyne with him. Dave Hockaday misses a tackle and he brings David Smith down. A little bit of a late tackle by David Hockaday. Caught David Smith, brought him down. So it's a free kick then to Gillingham, taken by Pearce. On to Pritchard. Across the Swindon goal, and it's Fraser Digby. Bravely at the feet of Cascarino. He looks up saying, is everybody gone now? But yet again, another good save from Fraser Digby. Long raking forward to Stevie White. Bamber up with Greenall. Greenall wins that one. Lee Barnard. Steve White. Into Dave Bamber. There's Greenall. Bamber loses control. That's typical Dave Bamber fall in the penalty box. Sometimes he gets a penalty, sometimes he don't. That time he didn't. So the minutes are just ticking by now. Swindon are almost there. And behind me you can feel the excitement of the fans. The atmosphere is absolutely electric. It's been a long time since I felt anything like this from a Swindon town. It's David Smith. Oh, and the ball went across, and Shearer put it wide. What a great chance for Gillingham, but it's gone. It's gone. And I think that is the end now for Gillingham. An open goal, and David Shearer put it wide. The referee looking at his linesman. We're only seconds away from Division 2 football, again at Swindon Town. Smith, Hockaday. Hockaday forward to Stevie White, but had gone for a throw in. Berry forward to, well, looking for Dave Bamber, but Les Berry beats him to it. Only as far as Peter Coyne, the clearance. Coyne through to Steve White, into Barnard, but Greenall's there to clear. Barnard chasing back again with Elsie to get that ball back again. And it's Haylock for Gillingham. Howard Pritchard, Elsie, Haylock, back to Phil Kite. Just listen to that behind me. It is fantastic. Red and white everywhere. Elsie onto Haylock. Haylock crosses, Calderwood puts it away. Trevor Quo. Steve Berry, Greenall. Elsie. Howard Pritchard. Hockaday gets his boot to it first. Phil King clears. And it's Steve White. Steve White sends Bamber away. Dave Bamber, with only Berry in front of him and the keeper. And his shot is over the bar. I think that shot was a time-wasting shot. I mean, time wasted on Swindon's point of view. They have just got seconds, literally seconds to go. And it's second division football coming back to Swindon. And the fans behind me starting to see summer in tears. Absolute pouring down their face. Pushed by Lee Barnard on Shearer. Cascarino, but Parkin's there. Lee Barnard. He's run and ran around all night long. Pearce. It's Haylock, not offside. Phil King over there with him. Haylock walking him, Haylock, Cascarino and Parkin. Cascarino heads it back. David Smith. Smith crosses. Parkin beats Cascarino to the ball. Steve Berry flicks it on. But only as far as Carl Alsey. Alsey past Phil King, but that's Fraser Digby's ball. And that's it, it must be all over. We're a minute over at the moment. Yeah. Handball by Berry. Unfortunately, the ball bounced up onto his hand. I can see Mark Jones stripped up over the far side, but I don't think he's going to get on. It's all over. Swindon Town are back in Division 2. Gillingham cannot come back from this now. There's going to be a shot from Bamber, I think. Steve Berry, Trevor Quo, Cascarino, once again with Parkin. Parkin pushes Cascarino, so it's a throw to Gillingham. Charlie Henry runs the ball away from the ball, leaves it there. Carl Alsey. The amateur referees in the Swindon crowd blowing their own whistles. But referee Martins is the only one that counts. And this is David Smith. David Smith for Gillingham. Well tackled by Dave Hockaday, and Hockaday wins the throw. It's all going Swindon's way now. Now look at my watch, and I make he's gone 2 minutes over. He's in stoppage time. Stevie White, the hero of the night for Swindon with 2 goals. Pushes on to Bamber, but Greenall beats Bamber to it. And it's back to Phil Kite. Colin Calderwood, Pearce, and that's Charlie Henry back there. Started off as centre forward and finished up in the centre of the defence. Haylock, Cascarino, and Berry pumps the ball over his own bar for corner to Gillingham. Swindon trying to waste as much time as possible now. There was a corner then to Gillingham. Howard Pritchard, Cascarino, Steve Berry clears it. Long ball out to Howard Pritchard again from Graham Pearce. Lee Barnard's there. Shot comes in. And well brought down and saved by Fraser Digby. With the momentum goes over for a corner. That's 3 good saves from Fraser Digby tonight. So the police referee blow that whistle. And it's Fraser Digby gathers the ball from the cross. And now he must blow that whistle. That's a long, long ball down again. Steve Berry, Steve White. But offside. David Bamber was offside.
Second division, and there's Lou Macari, the magical Lou Macari, promotion 2 years in running, and he's coming over to greet the Swindon fans. And the Swindon players are coming over here now. I'm just going to let you listen to what the crowd think. The joyous scenes here at Sellers Park. The fans behind me are going mad. Down there you can see all the players. Andy Rowland down there, Brian Wade, Chris Ramsey, Jimmy Quinn and Chris Kamara, they're on crutches. The support has been fantastic here tonight for Swindon Town. And I'll leave you with the sound of the Swindon fans on promotion to Division 2 for Swindon Town. Well done Lou McCurry, well done Swindon Town.